as more draconic than Warrior, I say.
But if it's Warrior Mastery Pack, they've got to give Draconic Warrior something.
Well, yeah.
They've committed to that.
They did say in Companion they were going to give something for everyone, right? And then
didn't. Jimmy says a lot of things, it turns out.
But for what it's worth, the two heroes that complained the most about not receiving anything in Compendium were Olympia and Betsy.
Yeah.
And now I think they can be like, okay, fine.
Stuff's coming.
They got pushed down the line. Now that's all right. I don't mind that. Yeah, so a whole new rules text that Charlie's very excited about reading. And does sort of set a precedent for what can be.
Yeah.
And frankly, a lot of these expansion slots have sort of been pushing that in this set. Like giving warriors on-hit disruption.
Yep.
Giving Brute, giving specifically Rhinar, I should say, a means of essentially cost reduction, which is pretty cool too.
Welcome to Energy Potion, a flesh and blood podcast where we chat about trying, failing, and sometimes succeeding to play Flesh and Blood as competitively as we can. This episode was recorded in front of a live audience at an exclusive secret location. Before you smash the like, follow, or subscribe buttons, just take a moment. Do you really want your friends and connections to hear the latest hot takes and brute techs before you get to play them yourself? Yeah, we should play some games.
We should play some games. I endeavour to play more games. More games are more good. And yes, we could keep some powered down, like the Zyggy Armory deck, as we saw from the video the other day. Looks pretty solid.
Looks solid? I've watched it this morning. Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, it looks fine.
There was a significant life disparity, and then suddenly there wasn't.
I don't know if you've heard of these illusionists, John, but they tend to do that.
I don't understand.
Although Zyggy does seem to be pushing, again, a new angle of illusionist.
Yes.
Like, I would say that I'd say we had, like, the original Prism as, like, a sort of an illusionist archetype.
Yep.
Then we had Dramai as, like, a more allies-based. You could argue Prism 2 is maybe a mixture of the two, in that she can do Herald and Auras.
Yep.
I'd say Enigma is a lot more... Despite having allies, quote unquote, by attacking with her wards, she's a lot more Prism 1 based, right? And that she's presenting this board and saying, deal with this, and if you can't, I win.
Yep.
And now Zyggy is sort of, again, being like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to play these instant speed auras, and they're going to have ward. But also, I'm attacking you with arcane damage, so now I'm kind of also a bit of a wizard.
Yeah. Very close to Bullander. In many ways.
It feels very Bullander.
Very close to Bullander, but where... maybe Icelander blocked, Zyggy is putting up ward.
Zyggy is warding, and also just pinging. Just pinging away.
Just pinging away, yeah.
And
ping,
ping. Doing all kinds of fun stuff. I did look at that and immediately thought, well, I'm playing 5 AB in a deck full of 3 blocks, so how are you going to beat me? And I think that will be one of the first things that Zyggy decks, or Zyggy builders, try and figure out.
Is what's the combo? How do you get over the top?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be like a game-winning combo. It might be a small combo you have to do several times through the game. But
where's the Flicker Wisp? Where's the Golden in a Flash?
What's the over-the-top piece that puts them on the back foot and lets you steal victory?
Yeah, or at least like put them within range where like enough subsequent
pings will get them down.
Yeah,
because ping them a bit, combo them.
Because you can amp to some pretty nasty little numbers. Like I'm looking at this, obviously from kind of the decks that I play, right? Being like, cool. So what equipment suite, what game plan am I bringing into what will be like CC powerhouse version like Zyggy? Like, am I bringing 1 AB and just going at him? Am I bringing no AB and just doing the whole like a Cilio where you just beat them down?
Yeah, because for Zyggy, I don't think there's any on-hit from the arcane. It's just damage, but it's just ping damage, bringing it, as we saw with like decks like Syndra. That ping damage adds up.
Yeah, it does. And this is
I like ping damage.
Like it is a lot of little nickels and dimes, and obviously not to mention some of the attacks are really, really mean.
Although, he was facing into Ira. I do worry about how he'd face into a Draconic Ninja because,
or maybe an Ira that had 2 weapons instead of
an Ira that didn't draw 2 D-reacts off of the
that was even playing D-reacts for it as well. Yeah. I do think obviously they gave him a good shot at winning that game.
I think they gave him a good... And there were some edits and cuts And I'm like, they discussed this and planned the made sure he played the good lines. Made sure he found and played the good lines. But it wasn't a competitive game. It was a showing off what this deck can do game, and it did that.
And as we know, only one hero is allowed to lose their Armory deck game on the LSS channel, which is Rhinar Reckless Rampage.
Did Max win his?
I don't know. I didn't watch that one.
No, okay, fine.
I don't think anyone
They probably didn't even do one.
But watch the space. I still think Max is pretty good. I still think Max is in a good spot.
Don't say that. Why?
I just think he is.
Why?
I just think he's fine.
Because I've found all my Max cards now. But, like, I'm genuinely looking at, like, 6 different decks for the next 3 months.
Yeah, me too. And I'm playing Nats, John. I've got to actually play a deck.
You've got to actually play a deck, whereas I'm literally looking at, hang on, Lyeth, Puffin, Max, hell, Riptide.
Rippers, yep.
Riptide's got some really nasty tricks for these new heroes.
Yep.
And going, should I just play one of these lovely heroes that I've just had sat in my bag for ages? Or do I play Aurora? And I've bought a Carapace. I'm sourcing other pieces. I've found all my Aurora deck cards.
Yep.
And I'm going, I will.
I think, there is obviously a direct push from all the card design we've seen so far, where they are like desperately trying to drag these Aurora players kicking and screaming into a world where they pitch a card a turn.
Yep.
I do think they will fail.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's enough. I think there's enough 0-for-4s out there still for it to just be. But what's the payoff for hitting with a 0-for-4? Because you always had Channel Lightning Valley with
the threat and the implication that you could have a value.
Yeah,
I mean, you still have Burn Up Shock.
Yes,
that's the thing. You still just have good numbers. Like if your cards are just like 0-for-4s and 0-for-5s, you go cool.
Good numbers and equipment and blocks.
Yeah, I think
in the race you win. In the non-race you go over the top, and
into fatigue,
and Victor's disappearing.
You kind of lose. Is the without Flicker Wisp, like they have to figure out something else.
Yeah,
but maybe they will.
So there's Aurora. There's either Rosilio is looking interesting for different reasons.
Or Brocilio.
And we're calling him Brocilio because that's what Fabry's called him. I don't know if I approve.
Yeah, I mean, I was
trying to find him on Fabry the other day.
I just like putting the 2 in.
They've got Aurora 2, and I'm down at Acilio going, I've not put Acilio 2
on
there.
I really do like Dora for Aurora. I think it's quite funny. like how we just came to the conclusion that Dora kind of works. And I mean, she's exploring to a degree. I've seen, I think on Twitter, the Japanese are calling them 01 and 02 for Acilio, like 1 and 2. And I do think 02 is quite a cool nickname for a hero.
Yep. I think 02 is good.
But Brocilio also kind of works, also Swoicilio. And he's jacked.
He is jacked.
He's big.
And I think he's going to do some disgusting things.
I mean, this is he's already done one disgusting thing, John. He's maybe quite interested in playing not only a lightning hero, but a wizard. So I'm quite interested. I mean, I think he's going to have more in common with Verdance than he will any other wizard.
And I just think they're all 3 heroes. And then there's Zyggy. And Zyggy
I'm not interested in
Zyggy is very interesting though, because he's doing a bit of what Icelander did, which is the Bullander thing, the big attacks, but they're not doing much damage because they're really easily blocked. But you want people to block them because they fragment, which turns on other things that you do. And like there was the cool little combo line where on the video where we swung the weapon twice in one turn for free.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if how much of that equipment ends up
in the final build. Yeah, exactly. So I think Zyggy there trying something very new as well.
Yeah, they're pushing the boat out. They're pushing a whole new direction. Like every time we're like, we want a Moro, we want the base illusionist. They're like, okay, I know you do, but how about we take it in a whole different direction? So, how about we go lightning this time?
And he's just got a lot of play lines available to him, and as we tend to know, options is good.
This is the thing, we're on day like minus what?
Yeah.
Almost minus 17.
Well, some people will have picked up their entire Zyggy deck by the end of the weekend, I suspect.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Prague is essentially day 1, but it's also day minus 14.
Yeah. So I've got the Armory deck on order at my pre-ordered from my favourite local game store. Or at least my local game store. And we so he's in a really interesting space, and actually I think they put a lot of good stuff in the Army deck. Like they put they put 2 play sets of the new Majestics in there, and I think they've done the right thing in putting one of the old Majestic in there, Miraging Metamorph,
which is a card that he probably will play.
Which is a card he'll probably play, But a lot of people either have it because they play illusionist, or have already picked it up because it was relatively cheap anyway.
Yeah.
I'm in the group that's already... I don't have illusionist, but I picked up a bunch of cards ready for an illusionist. Ziggy's come along. I have Mirage Metamorph playset. Mine from the Armory deck will be available for somebody else to buy locally. So people won't struggle to get hold of it at a very reasonable price.
Yeah.
If price at all.
This is arguably clear conscience at rare. Like, we haven't stopped talking about this one.
Hits a hero. Each hero puts a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck and creates a ponder token. Costs 3, comes in for 8, has that fragment key text, which is whenever a card with 2 or more block defends this gets -2, and it, and very importantly, blocks for 3.
Blocks for 3 and it swings for 8.
Swings for 8.
Like, swings for 8.
And he does generate some free resources to Ziggy.
Yeah.
So he does generate some resources. So he's got as they said in the Armored video, he has spare resources, but he has outlets for those spare resources.
He's got things to funnel them into.
But that means he's not worried about hitting a 3-cost attack. So he sends a 3-cost attack for 8.
Blues as well.
Yeah, so he's got a 3-cost attack for 8 that disrupts your opponent, forces them to put a hand on the bottom of their deck, and then creates ponder tokens. So each hero puts a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck and creates a ponder. So now you are Ziggy with a ponder token. Your opponent's got one less card in hand, or they've blocked with their hand.
2 fewer cards in hand, yeah. Because if they've got 2/3 blocks, it blocks it out, right?
Yeah, if they've got 2/3 blocks.
If your aggro opponent gives you 2 cards, you're chuffed to bits.
But yeah, if they've given you 2 cards, they've given you 2 cards for this. And even if they're not an aggro opponent, guess what? I'm now going to ping you for some arcane.
Quite possibly, yeah. Well, this is the thing, right? So that you throw this and it does hit. You both make your ponders.
Yeah.
You can then tap the hat that they get to play.
Yep.
If you're playing it, which I don't know if Ziggy necessarily will. Crack it. Draw the card. If you've got a way to like immediately use it, great. Like if it's an instant, for example. Or you just get to reset Arsenal off of a 2-card 8, which is.
And this is
really
at the core of what Ziggy's doing that is really interesting, which is not like any illusionist I've played against. And that is, he's doing the Mario thing. He's going, here's a card, here's something. What have I got in my hand?
Yeah.
What's the correct thing for you to do here that I can't capitalize on? Because I've got a whole bunch of ways to capitalize on this, depending on what's in my hand. And that's very much an assassin play, right?
I guess it's more...
Or a warrior play is...
It's very Enigma, Mirage Metamorph holding either a Waxing or Waning Vengeance.
Yeah.
Like, frankly, he can do that too, which is quite annoying.
But, Prism 2's playlines were... She had a lot of playlines and a lot of options, and people had to remember what the options were. But her general playline was, if she's doing this, she's probably doing this thing next. You could start seeing those play patterns. I think Ziggy's going to be... I think he's going to have... For everything... I think everything is going to have, 3 options. He can do 3 things off the back of this. Which one has he got the cards for? Or which 2 has he got the cards for? Does he have the cards for 3 currently?
I think, and this is the thing, we don't know what half these cards do already. And so after a month of playing into him with in locals and maybe at competitive level and stuff, because again, we're going into Nat season soon, we'll start to get a general feeling of what he's trying to do. But even then...
But that's a really strong mechanic. That mechanic of, you don't know what I'm going to do, and therefore you will misblock. You will get the value wrong. Your opponent will make mistakes.
Yeah, I'm curious to see...
And they'll be in lose-lose situations where they can't help but make a mistake.
What kind of situations he's going to be able to put opponents in, what kind of decks he's going to try and prey on.
And so that is a really difficult position to put people into. And I still believe that kind of thinking forces more mistakes. So you're forcing your opponent in some mistakes because they know they're making some mistakes. The cognitive load forces them to make more mistakes. They're taking more risks
to try and get back on board.
So they take more risks, but they also make more mistakes. And so they're so you put them in this sort of death spiral of cognitive decision making, where they just can't make a good move.
Well, this is the thing, John. Like last time, we had a Somerset that had a board-based hero before national season. There was a little lad called Grave of Bones.
Yeah.
And he did quite well in that national season.
Yeah.
He did win our Nats, UK Nats.
Yep.
I can't remember if he won US Nats or not, but he did very well. People were immediately aware that Gravy Bones was here to stay. Despite multiple bans, he is still doing very well. He top 8'd Sao Paulo this weekend as well, in a room full of Acilio, which is crazy. I don't know if Ziggy's going to be quite that level, but he could be.
I think, regardless of how good he is, he's meta shifting.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't. You've got to have a plan for it. You've got to have a plan for all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the plan for Aurora is slightly easier than the plan for the other two.
Well, now that we know that she doesn't have a lot of essentially the power cards that Aurora 1 had, we know that her power card is Burn Up Shock.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's the new ones as well, and we're going to learn just how strong some of these new cards are too. There could be a world where she does end up being a blue pitch kind of deck, and she presents a 1-for-5 that pings you for 3 arcane 3 separate times, and each time you discard a card, and suddenly she's miserable for a whole other reason, right?
Yep.
But if she's playing this Cheerios, Briar Reborn, essentially Aurora 1 Reborn as well, Burn Up Shock deck, you block the Burn Up Shock, there's a high chance that you can sort of outvalue her and outgrind her. Or fatigue her, I guess, if you're a guardian and that kind of stuff. But yeah, for Ziggy and hell, even for Acilio 2 as well, we don't know what...
And we don't know what Acilio 1's doing.
We're going to do with anything. We don't know how we're going to deal with them with the decks. Obviously, like I can be like, oh, well, I have a plan for Ziggy, I'm going to play Tough Nut. It's like, yeah, cool, but how are you going to prepare for the rest of the metagame that's preparing for them? Acilio 1, bless him. He has been kind of left out to dry.
Yeah, a little bit.
I do wonder if maybe he'll... Honestly, we've already been seeing them crop up a little bit, like the full arcane, like Storm Striders, Acilios. And literally just using the hero ability to like cycle through the deck to find your more powerful spells faster.
Yep.
Maybe that's what he ends up doing, and maybe it is a little bit sad, but he'll fill that Kano sort of gap. Which, frankly, Acilio 2 kind of will fill as well, but he'll be doing it in a different way. He'll be doing it a lot more sort of like counter burn, like presenting instants to block and then using them to like amp and ping and stuff. By the looks of it so far, obviously we technically have almost a full spoiler, but not quite.
So I'm still very hyped for the set. I'm actually just confusingly hyped. I don't know what I want to do in this meta.
I don't think anyone does.
But Ziggy looks really cool. Acilio looks really cool.
Even Aurora looks fine.
Well, I'm buying Runeblade cards now.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, excuse my French.
I wouldn't. You never catch me buying a Runeblade card.
But it's tough. And then still with, look, Lyeth got a big, I think, leg up. Betsy may have got a leg up, but I think it's still Betsy.
Well, the issue with giving Betsy maybe the second strongest weapon swing in the game after the Rock.
Yep.
Although technically 8 is more than 7, so it's stronger than the Rock.
Not unpreventable there.
It's not unpreventable, and it's not off of one card, so you know. The issue is you're plopping her now in a metagame where we're about to have a hero that's built around Ward.
Yeah.
And so
where Rock is really good, by the way. Although
where Rock is fantastic.
Yeah.
And swinging for 8 isn't awful. Like Ziggy's still going to struggle to cover 8 consistently.
Yeah.
And protect maybe some of his more important Ward, but it's not like with Enigma where like if Manifestations is out, if she protects Manifestations, she kind of wins, right? We haven't seen anything to that level yet from Ziggy. But yeah, we're looking at a metagame where she's going to be like maybe one of the best grinding decks, and maybe we're moving slightly away from that grinding meta which we've had for a little bit.
Yeah.
That Acilio's kind of been keeping in check, Mara's been keeping in check to a degree. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the Betsy players will figure it out.
Yeah, maybe.
And they'll find a way to somehow have the gumption and the balls to declare a wager into a hero that could just be holding 4 spells that have Ward on in their hand.
And
it's the same thing I have with Olympia. I think Olympia is going to get such a power spike from his army deck.
Well, the warrior power spike coming soon.
And and obviously the new warrior cards that let you make like queue up attacks and all that kind of stuff. Against some really cool stuff coming. But it's like cool. The key mechanic they're both hinging on is still on hit do X.
Yes, and you've got a hero with instant ward in the field, which just screws that game plan.
Which makes it a lot harder. I mean, at least warriors get to play Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
Which could make it a lot easier. And maybe Guardians will get something equivalent soon. I mean, they've technically got back to a pulp, but the proof will be in the pudding. Again, most people are very excited about the 3 lightning heroes.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them for not thinking too much about the impact that these expansion slot cards will have, apart from obviously Callum and Puffin.
Yeah, Callum and Puffin.
He's mentioned it a few times.
He's mentioned it a few times. Although
but
now
that is also a hero.
Zyggy.
That if Zyggy is like one of these polarizing like pillars of the metagame, unfortunately a lot of her cards also say on hit do a thing. And obviously the key interactions being she can make these incremental changes plus ones. It's going to be a lot tougher for her to push through those.
I think Ziggy's going to be metamorphing, pun intended. No matter what. No matter pun was not intended, but I saw it there.
It was. Cut that.
No matter what, and so I'm genuinely conflicted as to what I do going forwards in terms of build a hero, play a hero.
Can I recommend Rhinar Reckless Rampage?
You can, because if I'm considering buying some cards, I've genuinely sat down and considered, should I just bite the bullet and finally buy the rest of those brute cards I'm after?
Like, Rhinar's feeling really good.
Oh, really?
Really good.
Because I suppose he can, the occasional phantasm from Ziggy he can deal with. Don't care. Rhinar.
Intimidate.
In a really good spot.
Enjoy playing your instants from your hand.
Yeah, play them now.
Play them now,
and then we can see what happens.
Yep.
Intimidate on the stack.
Yeah.
He can play the AB for Acilio.
He can play 3 AB quite comfortably.
He can do a lot of blocking into Aurora, and if she hasn't got the combo piece, he's probably got that.
He can almost race her. With flashback as well.
He can race her, or he can just sit back, block out a lot, and fatigue her, maybe.
Mm-hmm. The worst thing for Rhinar right now is the fact that Victor, one of his good matchups, is leaving.
Does he have any bad matchups?
Mario's not great. Kasai can feel rough. Warriors typically can feel quite bad. Like Kasai is pretty rough. And
the time to play him then is before the Warrior Mastery set comes out.
But into a deck more like Hala, into a deck more like hell, even Hatchets. Hatchets would have been, I suppose, the deck that in heavy hitters metagame was quite bad for Rhinar. Something like that is a lot more in Rhinar's favour now. Specifically this Meat Axe version. The Eugene version probably has no bad matchups, right? Because it's Eugene. But,
yeah.
The fact still remains, like, if we're going to get two heroes that come into the metagame that want to play instant speed and are playing cards that don't block and are playing instants and playing ward, Rhinar's in a good spot.
Yeah.
Rhinar's in a good spot.
Maybe now's the time to buy that brute equipment.
I've
been talking about. I've got some of it.
It's worth having. I mean, if you want, I can sell you mine, and then I can justify buying cold foils.
We can talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because cold foil Savage Sash is only like 100 quid from the Judge pack.
We can talk about that offline.
Cold foil Scout Skins, a bit more.
We can talk about it.
Bit more mega expensive. But I do like Brute. Yeah. I've learned this from playing Rhinar, again, prepping for Nats, getting the reps in with hilariously
amongst the other decks who are practicing.
Well, yeah, I'm toying with Pleiades, I'm toying with Vinset. I am looking at maybe... I mean, there was a maybe Katsu, but the shurikens aren't as exciting for me as I thought they were going to be.
You mentioned one after we stopped recording last week that was a bit of a surprise. Are we not dropping that name?
No, I can't break that. Okay, that's a Cuppa's team secret, I'm afraid.
Fine.
You'll see that when Ryan makes top 8 with it.
Fine, fair. Good luck, Ryan.
Yeah. But I think again we're still in a metagame where unless these heroes come in and drastically polarize it, I still think we're in a pretty open metagame. Because I think one of the big issues, obviously with illusionists and board-based decks coming in before, is that a lot of these classes didn't have the tools to deal with them. Whereas now, you could call it power creep, you could call it more just like a more fulfilling metagame to a degree. But these tools do now exist, not just necessarily in generic, but also
do exist. I also
class.
think that this set represents a step change in power.
Potentially.
I think it does. I think there is an upstep in power here that part of the way they're dealing with that is by stepping up some of these other heroes. You know, the expansion slot cards have all been pretty good. Everyone's very excited about expansion slot cards.
Yeah, I haven't seen a real dud.
We did nothing but talk about the expansion slot cards last week, and so I feel like if they're stepping up the power like that, it's because they're expecting these heroes to be stepping up the power, and the next set to be stepping up the power. I feel we're entering a period of fab power. They've managed to level it off for a while, and I feel maybe they're at the business level slightly worried that they're not creating enough buzz with these sets that aren't
potentially
overpowered.
I know that obviously Super Slam had a bit of a negative stigma due to the fact that of the 4 heroes, none of them really have had a huge meta impact. They're quite exciting to see on stream, but they're not out here winning callings. They're top 8 in callings, but they're not winning callings. And then Compendium comes along, and again, there's a lot of mixed opinions about Compendium being obviously a fantastic set with lots of really cool cards in, and lots of cards that have impacted the meta.
Compendium was brilliant, but not exciting.
And Silver Age, the issue
it was
again,
clever.
A lot of the issues people have with Silver Age aren't even necessarily the cards.
Yeah.
It's the price point, which is, again, kind of justifiable to a degree, and you can understand it. But again, they're not necessarily critiquing the cards themselves and the set itself. It's just, again, how it's presented and how to access it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are kind of needing a bit of a spike in good reviews, good opinions, and frankly, John, Lightning was never going to be underpowered.
No,
Lightning has consistently been the strongest element. Maybe, I mean, it's probably tied with Shadow and Ice, right? But it's up there. I mean, just look at Briar before we even think about looking at Aurora and Acelia, right? We're looking at 3.
It's a good class.
Incredibly
good
strong.
Class, good talent.
And frankly, the Lightning half of Lexi was the side that let her do some of the dumbest stuff. Like, the reason she gets to fire 3 arrows in an Art of War turn isn't because of the Ice side, John. It's because of the Lightning. Now,
but there was some Ice builds out there that caught people off guard quite substantially.
Yeah, but I've been hit by enough dominated arrows from the Shiver to know to respect that. You have to pay 4 for my immovable because of the Frostbite. So yeah, I mean, it was never going to be a low-powered set. And again, we could have said that, 1, because it's Lightning, but 2, because they went face up from day 1. We're banning these very strong Lightning cards because fundamentally, if they existed with these Lightning heroes, the game would be broken.
Game's broken, yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could argue they stopped Living Legend as well as a result, because they were like, cool, these cards are going to be legal in that format.
And you've not helped me, Toby, because now I'm like, should I just play Rhinar? But we'll talk about the cards, because maybe I should play, because that also gives me access to RKO and Tough Nut.
Yes, this is the preaching that I've been putting forward, is that buying into a Brute gives you access to 3 heroes, 3.5 if you count Levy as a playable deck.
Yeah.
And Tough Nut, again, I'm one of his many 7, if not 8 fans worldwide. He feels good. Like, I'm kind of outside of Marionette. I'm kind of really struggling to see a matchup where Tough Nut doesn't at least have the chops to take it. And obviously, you can beat Marionettes if you do draw particularly well and they don't draw great. Same as any matchup, really. Yeah. But again, looking at these 3 heroes, going, cool, well, sure.
And I haven't even thought about how, like, Assassin plays into some of these decks.
Yeah, so again, Ward, in theory, keeps Assassin in check. To a degree. But he's not got a huge amount of ward, and he does, as we saw in the Armory Deck video, he does want to be doing some stuff. Yeah, and a lot of, again, because of the fact that Assassin gets to change the increments and the damage they're dealing. Like, if I go, here's a Chilisra that I've pre-charged with a Save of Bloodshed, and it's coming in for like 7 odd, and you go, okay, well, I'm Zyggy, so I'm going to present, a 3 block and 4 ward.
Yep.
They're going to flip their knife at you and eat
now
that
what?
forward.
Now what? Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of annoying little things they can do. Now, obviously, it's not a particularly good trade for Mario, but maybe that's the kind of thing they do. Also, Assassins have access to anti-prevention tools, right? They can play Malign. They can play some other really annoying cards, just punch through them. Frankly, again, I know I'm not Assassin's biggest fan.
Despite having most of the cards.
Despite having nearly all of Marionette built now, yeah. I do think... I mean, I would be surprised if we didn't see maybe a little slap on the wrist from Marionette. Just really to sort of encourage people to try these new heroes and play them. Because even if I do think they are maybe not quite on the same power level as Marionette, but maybe approaching the power level of Marionette and Acelia 1 pre-ban, that kind of stuff. It does feel quite strange to look at a metagame where, sure, Marionette hasn't made the top 8s of the last 2 callings, but like people aren't playing him because the people are targeting him so much, right? And then you see Acilio get hit with all these bans, and then you don't see anything from Marionette, and you go, cool. Well, again, maybe the proof is in the pudding, right? Maybe the proof is in the data. Maybe the fact that Marionette hasn't made 2 top 8s in 2 weeks is proof enough that he actually isn't as strong as we're all complaining about, and that there are plenty of decks keeping him in check. But I don't believe that, John. I don't believe I've had enough Chilistras come in for 11 go again and look at my hand of like 2D reacts and go, I can't resolve these because they're going to get T-Tox, and then I resolve them and they get T-Tox.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, I don't feel like I had much say in how this game played out. At least with Slippy we had Snag, where they could like bonds and like double Justinic, and you could be like, and you could get them, and you could, if they overcommit, you can catch them. Whereas, with Marionette, it doesn't feel very much, unless you're literally playing Test of Iron Grip. It doesn't feel like there's much you can do to really like catch them with their trousers down. And there's only really one good Test of Iron Grip deck, and that is Victor.
Yeah, who is second on the LL leaderboard at the moment,
and desperately trying to reach the golden lands of Living Legend.
Yeah.
And it'll be the second heavy hitter to do it.
What do we think the Fable's going to be this set?
Pitch, make a lightning flow, right?
It's got to be.
Which means it won't be that. It means it's going to be something so ridiculously...
Or pitch, make an embodiment?
It could be pitch, embodiment, make an embodiment of lightning, which is actually insanely busted. Because if you pitch it to play an attack, you get to give the attack go again. Because the pitch resolves before the attack resolves.
That's pretty good.
I think, right? Because I guess it makes a layer... embodiment is while attacking, right?
Embodiment is when this attacks.
Maybe. Not Charlie, if you're listening to this, figure it out. Cheers.
Talking about Charlie.
After he's finished reading the new rules text for
how do we feel about the
cards.
Substack?
Well, I'm more of a fan of the Dom stack myself, John, but actually,
Callum will love knowing that you're a fan.
This is family friendly. That one was for Callum. I think fundamentally it is really funny that there's like God knows how many words in an article for a ruling that doesn't exist yet, will exist because of an expansion slot card, which one of them is expansion slot, the other one is Mastery Pack Warrior, the two they showed. I think it's and again is the expansion slot one.
Yes. No. What? The only one I've seen talk about is the Beckoning Blade. Is it Beckoning?
No. Well, one of them is like you need to have 3. Sharpen a sword and its attack react.
Yeah, that's the Beckoning one.
And you need to have 3 counters, and it lets you queue another weapon attack. The other one, I think, is actually just action, attack with sword.
Yeah.
Which is actually really good, John. Yeah. Because, we were all like, well, surely you need to have, the action point to do it, and the answer is kind of... Like if
gets around go again.
Gets around go again.
Go again for the
kind of gets around Spectra to a degree. Like you could do some really fun stuff with it. And currently it is restricted to Warrior, but let's be honest, Assassin's going to get it at some point.
Well, it's really scary that they're introducing this rule change just before the Warrior Mastery pack.
Yes. Because the other Warrior, the card is in there, right? So, and again, this is how you juice a hero, John. You go, I'm going to make new rules.
Yeah. And does this fix the problem everyone's complaining about for a long time, which is that Warrior's not got the juice for the current power level?
Well, you say that.
Kasai's done really well. Kasai's done really well.
Hala almost made top 8 at Sao Paulo.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and that's before, that's half a deck. They're piloting like half a ship. So, I mean, Warrior, again, the issue with Warrior isn't that they're not strong. It's that fundamentally they are fair.
Yes.
You have decks like Dory that try to punish these more unfair decks by snowballing these counters and saying, if you're not going to respect what I'm doing, then I'm not going to respect your hit points. But Kasai is a deck fundamentally that's built on good numbers and breaking parity by making men and using gold and obviously blood in their hands, all that kind of stuff, and having these pop-off spike turns. But turns you have to set up for.
Yep.
Olympia.
We'll see.
I won't lie. After playing a skirmish with Decimator Dory, I have been brewing up Decimator Olympia one last time, just to give him a little crack. Do I think is remotely playable in the current format? No. But big axe. And then, in theory, Fang, but obviously Fang occupies his own special space as more draconic than Warrior, I say.
But if it's Warrior Mastery Pack, they've got to give Draconic Warrior something.
Well, yeah.
They've committed to that.
They did say in Companion they were going to give something for everyone, right? And then didn't.
Jimmy says a lot of things, it turns out.
But for what it's worth, the two heroes that complained the most about not receiving anything in Compendium were Olympia and Betsy.
Yeah.
And now I think they can be like, okay, fine.
Stuff's coming.
They got pushed down the line.
Yeah,
that's all right. I don't mind that. Yeah, so a whole new rules text that Charlie's very excited about reading. And does sort of set a precedent for what can be.
Yeah.
And frankly, a lot of these expansion slots have sort of been pushing that in this set. Like giving warriors on-hit disruption.
Yep.
Giving Brute, giving specifically Rhinar, I should say, means of essentially cost reduction, which is pretty cool too. We are sort of like the same way, I suppose, we are with Acilio and with Zyggy. We're taking common themes, things we're now used to from having a game for like pushing 6 years now, and just pushing them left and pushing them right and pushing them out a little bit instead of following the beaten path.
Lots of new threads.
Lots of new threats, lots of new things to worry about, lots of new things that when your opponent presents a hero and you go, cool, I didn't know what you did before and now I definitely don't.
Yeah.
And again, lots of very... I mean, I put it like this. There's a world where Hatchet's Dory is back.
Jesus, yes, there is. That's upsetting.
And that's terrifying in its own regard.
Right, I can leave it there.
Yeah.
But I'll speak to you again soon.
See you later, John.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Energy Potion, a Flesh and Blood podcast. If you liked it, please consider subscribing for more. If you disagree with any of these opinions, please let us know in the comments and we'll either defend them robustly or completely cave and agree with you. This podcast was made possible with help from the team at Le Bon 22 Productions and a special donation from the Cracked Bauble Appreciation Society and their sponsors.